Okay, this is the garage overhead door, metal panel door over here. And I can look over here, even from here, well, it's too much contrast, so you can't see it. It's underexposed, what I was talking about. But this isn't underexposed. This is a control switch, and it's higher than my nose, so it's higher than 5 feet, and which is a good thing, so little hands can't get to it. But we're supposed to have a warning notice posted right here. We don't have a warning notice. There's supposed to be a warning notice posted next to the door control switch. What do you mean warning notice? Well, it looks something like this because we're supposed to have one posted on the door as well. And this is a warning notice. So we're supposed to have a notice that's similar to this over by the switch. We have one like this on the door. That's a good thing. These are spring tension notices. These stay on the outside corners of the first panel. Okay, that's a good thing. These are control handles. Okay, excuse me, these are pull handles. So if you ever have to go back to manual operation, you can use these handles to open and close your door. You're supposed to use these handles. I know my client just saw me use this right here to open it. No, you're not supposed to use that. You can damage that. Don't act like me. Okay, use these handles. And we come over here, we cannot close the door. We cannot lock it manually because we're relying on the door opener. And if we locked it manually, then we could turn the door opener on and it would, destroy the door. It would damage the door. So we've got it decommissioned. Now if you lose power, you can disconnect the box, you can disconnect the emergency release, use the handles, open and close the door. We don't have any power, so we take the screw out and we could use the lock to secure our house. If we got to that kind of a situation. Those are few and far between, but we are geared for it. We can operate manually and automatically. And we got this door lock has been decommissioned so that we can operate it automatically with confidence. Now you'll notice that the door is slightly ajar. That's why I had to come over here and change the exposure and all that. Okay, it's slightly ajar is because I have decommissioned, I did the emergency release, and now this tells us that the springs are operating very well, okay? So we want the springs to counteract the weight so we do not stress out the motor. So we come over here, these are our optic sensors for our emergency reverse. All right, so they're not supposed to be higher than 6 inches from the driveway. So they're a little bit too high. They should have been mounted a little lower. I get why they're mounted where they are because we ran out of wall and now we got a little bit of the foundation corner around there and we can't drill them in the concrete. So instead of coming up with a different bracket that would facilitate that properly, we just punted. If you don't mind them being that high, it's up to you. You shouldn't have to live like me. Mine are too high. All right, I'm not the standard of, I had my own reasons. So that's what we got over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to see about the emergency. Let's see. What do we got here? Close sesame. Yay, okay. Then we go over here. Open sesame. Pretty nice. Now, I do not do block tests. The builder, they like to do block tests. I don't know why. You can ask them to say, hey, I'd like to see a block test on my door. And they say, I'm on it, man. I'll be right over. We're going to get to do another block test. Yay, that's what he does. All right, we got a little loose siding right there. See that? I didn't have, okay. But I don't do block tests. I did a conscientious decision, a business decision to do no harm. I'm going to check it with the optic sensors, and that way we know that it works. And inside of your report, actually, what came with this, all right, there should be instructions on how to do a block test inside the instructions for this opener motor. But if you don't have one, I'm baking a set of instructions inside your inspection report, so that way the builder can read it in case he hasn't done a block test lately. He knows how to do it. So we come on over here. Remember, I'm going to take my big old flat zombie hoof. I'm going to trudge over here like a dancing fool. My left foot's larger than my other one. And we go over here and we open sesame. So that's it. Now the only other thing that I can speak to this, is that I know it's on a GFCI protected circuit. It's an assumption that I'm making, but that switch right there, that receptacle outlet right there that we're plugged into, it should have a GFCI protected circuit sticker stuck on it. That looks similar to these over here. Similar to these over here. In fact, I'll just test you and test you. You see the light went out? It is on a GFCI circuit. It's just not labeled as being so. It's not a big deal, but I'm just telling you what it should have been done.